Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink with another STAMPtember limited edition exclusive. Today's collaboration is with Altenew, and this is the From the Rosebush stamp set, and it is this fabulous big 6x8 stamp set with all the layers to create these roses, and there's leaves, and then there's a couple of little branches to do as filler and sentiments, all the fun things. So I thought, since it was a layering set, this would be the perfect time for me to really give a good run at these new Pawsitively saturated inks from Simon Says Stamp that were released on the 1st with their STAMPtember release. And I managed to use every single one of the inks to make these cards. I couldn't help myself. I was having fun. So I used all the greens for the leaves, and I haven't really worked much with layering stamps. Like, I get the concept, all that. I just, shockingly, don't have really any, other than like the ones that Simon just released. But I've always loved the look of them. So these were easy, especially if you have something like a MISTI. It helps. More so for doing multiple images. Like, honestly, you can just use an acrylic block, you know, because they're clear stamps. You look right through them, no biggie. But when you want to do multiples like this is where the MISTI's nice, because that's what I did. I just grabbed a bunch of like larger scraps of my smooth white cardstock because I did multiples. I wanted to use all the colors, and the leaves and the roses, I wanted like a whole bunch of them. So I would just line up. I started with like the base, like the largest solid image. I stamped that with my lightest color, and then I had lined up the next detail image, stamped that with my medium shade, and then the third detail image I stamped with my darkest shade. And on the packaging, it labels everything. It's with a set like this, it's pretty self-explanatory. I know some layering sets, it can get really detailed, but all the companies like layer and label everything, so it's pretty easy to line up. So I found these were pretty easy to line up. That's why my head gets in the way. I just need to look straight down. So my big old messy disaster of my hair is always in the way when I'm lining things up. So for me, I found it was easier to I just liked stamping all the colors first, and then I stamped the outline last. You can choose whether or not you want to stamp the outline. Like, you can do just the colors and have a more kind of realistic look. But I really loved how when I'd stamp the outline, I just used Simon's Intense Black ink. It just finished everything off, and love. So this set is available as just the stamp set and available as the combo set with the wafer dies. Again, while supplies last. I did not have the wafer dies, so I fussy cut out everything. Normally, I would never. But these actually weren't difficult. Like, these weren't that intricate. If they were really intricate, one, I wouldn't make 2 cards, and I would not have this many images. But it wasn't that difficult. If I'd had the wafer dies, though, I would just die cut, be done. So much easier, so much better. But I had the leaves done. And then for the roses, exact same process. I just start with the most solid of the images as my base, and I stamp with the lightest color. And then I just keep working my way to the medium and then the darkest color. And again, using all these Pawsitively saturated inks. I love that they're in trios. I love that they're meant to layer. They stamp like a dream. Seriously. Like, I know I work for Simon. Products get sent to me, all the things. But I genuinely love these inks. Like, I would buy them in a heartbeat. Like, no questions asked. I'm so glad I have them, and I can't wait. I can't wait till there's more color combos. Like, this is just the beginning. And it was announced ink refills will be available for these. They're just coming at a later date. So, hooray. So, I stamped on my flowers with the rose. There's actually 4 layers. The 4th layer, honestly, you could get away with not stamping at all. But one, I have OCD. It's hard not to, just like, you just got to do the things. So for me, even though there's a 4th layer, but I only have technically 3 shades of each of these inks. But regardless of what types of inks you're using, if you only have 3 and you want something like the very darkest, take your darkest ink and stamp it twice or even 3 times. That's what I did here. I took that darkest layer and I just inked it up with my darkest shade multiple times and it was fine. But again, with an image like this, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I don't honestly think it makes that huge of a difference, but depending on the colors you're using, all those things. So I stamped that little bit of detail and then same thing. I'm going to stamp the outline. That was the other thing I was thinking of when, after I finished this, I was like, you could use just the outlines, you know, stamp them and then watercolor them. That would look fabulous. I'm hoping some of the other design team members, I'm sure I could see Debbie Hughes doing that. Like, oh, her watercoloring is fabulous. Anyway, I also like though that you can do all this, like this, the actual stamping portion of this did not take very long. Like, I really see the appeal in these layering sets. And now that I have got some actual layering inks, I might have to start getting more sets like this because I really enjoyed this. And it just, I don't know, you just, that satisfaction, like as the layers come together, it's like, oh, this looks so fabulous and took like no effort. So I used all the colors except for the like aqua trio. And I was determined, I was like, I'm going to make this, all the colors onto a card. So I pulled out the large hexagon. Is it called hexagon? I can't even remember the name of half the products I'm using right now. Yeah, large chevron, not hexagon, chevron. So I pulled out that stencil and I taped just more smooth white cardstock to it. I just used purple tape for my stash. I don't even think this is available anymore. Painter's tape works great too. But I taped that to the background and I started with my lightest color. And I'm just using one of the new blender brushes. And as usual, my camera makes my blending look like crap. Again, in real life, like it's so much smoother. It's funny how the camera always makes it look like kind of patchy. But regardless, these inks blend like butter. They dry like butter. Yeah. So I did the lightest color. And then the medium color, I brought up about 2/3 from the bottom. And then the darkest just along the bottom there, so I have that nice little gradient blend. And yeah, stamping with these has been great. Blending with them is great. I am a very happy person with these inks. All I care about right now is just I want more colors. Purples, yes. So all the colors, all the combos, all the trios, all the things. So since I'm only using one blending brush, and I wanted to go right back to using a light color, I just wiped it off on my microfiber cloth. And I'm working on my grid paper, so wiped it off there too. And good to go. So blend it on the lightest color over the stencil. Take my medium color 2/3 of the way up. And then my darkest. And done. Like, oh, love. So these panels were A2 sized, but I trimmed them down to roughly, it's like 3 3/4 by 5, something like that. And then I pulled out the XL Greetings 3 set. I think right now this is on reserve because it's been super popular with good reason because it's fabulous. And I told you guys when I showed this that I was like, this is going to be a set I use a lot. Yep. Especially the sentiment. I love it. So I use this, I think on just, yeah, the last video I just posted earlier today. Anyway, inked that up with some Nocturne ink and stamped it directly onto my panel here. And then once I had that stamped, I took another stamp from that same stamp set, and this time I have my card base here because I want to stamp this on the inside of the card. And I knew I was going to put like one of the roses and one of the little leaf clusters on the inside. So I kind of figured out how I wanted all that to work. And then I'll ink up that stamp as well with that Nocturne ink. Stamp that on the inside of the card base and then stamp that on the inside of the second card base. And then I'm going to adhere those roses and the leaf clusters to the insides just with some craft tacky glue. So adhere those onto the insides. And then for the little card front itself, I decided to pop up the cluster of roses and leaves with just some thin 3D foam squares because dimension, as Laura Basson says, dimension is life. I'm not going to sing it the way she sings it. It's really cute, but I would scare you all off if I did. But she's right. Dimension is life. So anyway, I adhered all the little leaves and everything with just the thin 3D foam squares. Just kind of popped them in there around the sentiment. And then I'm going to coat the back of both of these panels with regular foam tape this time. Because again, dimension. Just popping all the things up. So got those adhered, and then I'm going to adhere these to my card bases with that foam tape. And I've got the card base like framing the backgrounds and everything. And then I pulled out some assorted moonshine sequins from Simon. These have been around forever. I've used so many of these. Like, I've bought extra packs. I love the like ginormous sequins they have because they're perfect to tuck underneath little elements. I don't know what it is about that. I enjoy that. So adhered a few of those into place with some craft tacky glue. And then once I get all of these sequins adhered, these cards are complete. So I'm going to pair them with some lemon chiffon envelopes just to bring out more of the yellow. The yellow is just, it's such a cheerful, happy color. I had so much fun making these cards. So as always, I will have a link below the video to my blog post. I will link to this limited edition set and to the combo set with the wafer dies. Like I've said in the other STAMPtember collab videos, these are one and done. Once they sell out, they're gone. Altenew has tons of fabulous like layering sets, and they have wafer, like they have a bajillion products. Altenew is a fabulous company owned by fabulous people, and they've partnered with Simon for multiple STAMPtembers, and I love their products. So anywho, all the info will be in the description box below the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon in the next one. Bye!